What's going on, everyone? Justin here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be covering a cylinder bore inspection on an Audi B9. This is my SQ5 that I have behind me. It's a 2019 model. It has the 3.0T turbocharged. It's a great engine. The only problem is they have issues with the roller rockers and with the cylinder bores, with the piston skirts specifically. It tends to eat into the cylinder walls. There was a notice that went out from Audi of America that there's coverage up to 80,000 miles, and I'm just a hair underneath that. I wanted to get the cylinder bores inspected before I passed that 80,000 miles, so if I needed to, I could put in a warranty claim. So I'm going to do a quick walkthrough on using my trusty endoscope. This is just some random one I found off of Amazon. It does work really well. It's got twin cameras, so I can see from the side or directly in front of the probe, which is pretty nifty. It's also wireless, so that comes in handy as well. So I'll just be doing a very nonchalant inspection of the cylinder bores. And the only problem is I have to pull out the spark plugs. You need a special tool for that, and it's a little bit tedious because of the way that they have all the wiring harness up top. So give you a quick overview of that, and then we'll see what the results are going to be in real time. I did just want to also mention that cylinder 6, if you do any Googling on these engines, when people tune them, number 6 was the one that was most common for the failure. Some of the theories there are about like heat, and basically that's the one that runs leanest. Cylinder 5 is the second one most prone to failure, and so I'm not going to inspect both banks. I really don't want to have to pull all the spark plugs. I'm just going to pull the ones on the one bank, and really I'm just going to focus on 5 and 6. I might pull 4 as well, but assuming those are good, I think I'm in okay shape, and I'm not going to bother putting in a claim with Audi. So anyway, stand by. I'll give a quick overview of the engine bay. All right, so here's my trusty B9. This has been the wife's daily driver for a little over a year now. Honestly, it's great. It's running the stock turbo. I'm running a stage 2 tune on it. And I have some IE goodies on there, like the carbon fiber intake and a high flow cat. Totally reliable. Honestly, I have no problems with it. I did inspect the roller rockers. I didn't see any excessive wear. I don't hear any odd noises. I am very religious with the oil changes, though. Using the liquid moly kits from FCP Euro, using these Top Tech. I also do throw in Ceratec, and that's a common thing for a lot of these German cars. A lot of people recommend them. So anyway, in order to do the cylinder bore inspection, you need an endoscope, like I had mentioned. This one is wireless. It's charged, ready to go. I've used it more times than I could count. And then you also need this stupid spark plug remover. This is meant just for these cars. It's angled, so it's got a little, a little pivot in here, and then also it's the star pattern that you need for the spark plug. So this one I got off of Amazon. You could get them pretty cheap. It's a 14 millimeter, and this company is Aries. This is a model 11,000. So anyway, in order to get access to spark plugs, you pull the cover off, and you'll see you got your hot V turbo. That's common for modern cars. Gets hot very fast. And then underneath here, underneath the PCV hoses, and this is the coil packs. You could kind of see them a little bit hard to see, honestly, but they're under there. And I've worked on this engine already. It is a little bit tedious because of the fact that they really do package everything in here. Unlike the previous generation, the B8s, B8.5s, I found them a lot easier to work on. So yeah, just got to take my time. I'll set the camera up, do a time lapse, and you just want to use a pick and be very gentle with the connections. Don't pry anything excessively. It does get brittle up here, even though this is 2019 with almost 80,000 miles. You can very easily break some of this stuff, and I need to put this right back on the road after this. So I'm not going to be breaking anything. I'm going to take my time. So anyway, I'll put it on time lapse, kind of show you how I'm taking all this apart, and I'll cue you in at the end. Thanks.
All right, so as you can probably tell, it's a little bit more involved than it probably should be. Look, I get it. Keeping the wiring harness tight to the engine makes it really convenient when you're installing the engine. When it's outside of the car, it probably looks really cool. But, you know, look, I'm just going to say it. It's a bad design. I don't actually love bad designs. That's the joke there. I like to improve on things, but this is terrible. And it's just an example of German over-engineering. Everything is really tight on the harness. There's no play. There's no flexibility. I get it. They want to keep things short. There's also these additional grounding connectors for each coil. So from an efficiency standpoint, they want to keep it really close to the coil that it's going to be firing. Again, I get it, but it's a pain in the ass to get in here to do anything. So I lost track of how many connectors I had to disconnect. Obviously, I had to take the ECU out. I had to disconnect some coolant pipe. That's just me. You know, maybe there's another shortcut or something, but this is basically what I had to do to get to this. So I'm only going to focus on these two cylinders. I'm not taking out four. I've already taken out the coil hardware. Like there's just one screw that retains the actual coil in there, and it's a flexible boot. I remember that. So these should hopefully just pop right out. And then underneath that is going to be the spark plug. And then spark plug should be a simple removal, and then we'll get to actually see my bore scope in action. So you just kind of gently pry these things up with your hands, and you can see, like I said, that's a flexible boot. So here's your ignition coil. That's for number 6. I'll pull up number 5 right now. And I'll just say that, you know, when you're removing this harness, the grounding Allen screws, or it's a Torx 30, T30, those suck. And then the second most suckiest part is the injector clips. Not fun prying these things up, but you really need to in order to have enough flexibility with this harness to move it out of the way. So grounding sucks, and then the injector clips are the second worst. Everything else just kind of comes out. You just got to be patient. Anyway, just keep prying this. There you go. All right, number 5. All right, that's all good. Now I just have to get my special socket. I'm going to drop that in, get an extension. What I need for this, I'll use it's about an 8-inch extension, I guess. Alrighty. All right, spark plugs are out. I'll say this only because I learned it the hard way. Unless you're going to be replacing the spark plugs, don't ever take them out with an impact gun. I've fractured them before in other cars, so just take them out by hand. A little painstaking, not a big deal. With this tool, it makes it very simple. And now I'm just going to throw the bore scope in there. So I'll have to stop the video, and then I'll do a screen recording so you can see what that looks like. Also, I'm going to bore scope that, and then I'm actually going to bore scope in through the oil cap to see if I could take a look at my roller rockers. I did do a thorough inspection of the oil filter during the last oil change. I didn't notice any particulate in there, no metal shavings or whatever that was concerning, but I still just want to take a peek and make sure that everything looks okay as far as I can see. All right, so as you can tell, the cylinder bores look like they're in pretty good shape. I'm going to say that liquid moly is definitely a component of that. Religious oil changes definitely is going to make a difference there. It's a small percentage of engines from these years that were actually affected with this piston skirt issue. I think it's something like 5%. It sounds like a lot, and it probably is actually, but that and the roller rockers, there's not a huge number of complaints that I've seen. Yes, there's some negative posts online on Facebook groups or whatever, but if you take it in the grand scheme of things, it is a very small percentage. So anyway, cylinder bores do look good. There was a little bit of surface rust almost, it looked like, in one of them. I don't really know what that is, but there's no vertical scoring, which is what I was actually looking for. So I'm going to say we're good. So that was 6 and 5 I just scoped. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the snake in here, take a look at the roller rockers. I am pretty sure I have the smaller version in there. You'll be able to tell if you look at the needle bearing. The revised roller rockers have larger needle bearings, so basically more surface area there. And with the smaller ones, again, it's a small percentage of these that actually had issues. Replacing it is kind of a pain because you have to take the cam girdles off. You got to take the camshafts out, actually. Like $1,500 to $2,000 in parts from Audi. So it's tedious. It's not the worst thing in the world. But if I have to do it, I'll do it. It's better than letting it degrade to the point where if it starts really making a lot of noise, then you're sending a lot of metal through your engine, and obviously you'll have bigger issues. So I'm just going to scope, take a peek, see what the overall health is, and if nothing is looking off, then I'm just going to leave it as is. Like I said, it's not making any noise or anything right now. I just want to check on it. So I'm going to stick this in here right through the oil cap and see if we can get down to the roller rocker. All right, so that's confirmed. I have the older revision of the roller rocker, but they look like they're in good shape. So I looked at the camshaft lobes that are going to ride on the roller rocker, and they look like they're in good shape. So I'm not seeing any excessive wear. I think I'm just going to bolt this thing back together and hand it back to the wife. Call it as is. So unfortunate that I don't get a brand new engine from Audi with the solo scoring, but hey, whatever. I'd rather just not go through that whole process if I didn't have to. Plus, this car is tuned. I know people haven't been having issues with it, but there's always a chance because it could get TD1 that they wouldn't do a warranty replacement on the engine anyway. So I'm going to button this up, torque the spark plugs to the appropriate value, and send it on its way. If you like the video, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.